Nothing. No. Looks like he's moved through the camp, so I don't think we'll see him again. But at least we got a glimpse of him briefly. I wonder if he's not just going to walk straight through the camp and come out on the other side. So I think we might hang around in this area for a while, and maybe we get a nice view of him. That's amazing. It just shows you how animals will move wherever they want, regardless of a camp being there. They will still move through the areas if they really want to. Alright, I think I'm going to hang around here a little bit and just see, maybe we have some luck and that leopard comes out. So while I do that and reposition on the other side, let's head across to Steph, and he's watching those river cams again.
I can't actually remember the last time I've seen a leopard, to be quite honest with you, but I'm happy that Byron's found you one in any case. What we're doing is we're waiting at Main North for the carcass that floated away from cul-de-sac crossing to come down the river. Now, the other day I timed a stick going down the river. It took about 7 minutes, and at the moment it's been much longer than 7 minutes actually. And so what I think has happened is either the carcass has been intercepted by another crocodile, or it's gotten hung up on a rock or a branch or something. Why don't we go to cul-de-sac crossing, where we've got our second carcass being inspected by a crocodile. There you go, and you can see that that's the second carcass that came down here. I actually think there's 3 carcasses on this river that I know of at the moment. There's this one, the one that floated away a little bit earlier, and then at Main North there's one that has been washed up on the rocks for 2 days now. And I actually think that this drowning event is all linked. Upstream somewhere, obviously the wildebeest did a mass crossing and got stuck, and a couple of these wildebeest have then succumbed. Just have a look at how sharp that crocodile's teeth are. Slice through that skin. Just the barest touch. Scary. Look at the size of this guy. I tell you, the more I look at these crocodiles, the more they're terrifying to me, quite honest. There we go. That is that roll that we're looking forward to see. And that is exactly how a crocodile will then tear off a chunk for himself. And it wasn't by chance that it aimed at the belly first. That's the softest part. There you go, crocodile now try and lift its head up and swallow what small little morsel it got. Let's see if it carries on. These crocodiles are weird in that they seem to react to one another. They don't just come in. You know, there's a big crocodile like this, obviously, is now just dominating this carcass, but its activities here are going to be drawing other crocodiles in, and quite often these sort of single, very sedate feedings degrade or escalate into a feeding frenzy. I wonder if he's managed to tear open obviously he's managed to tear open the belly cavity there. He's now also dislodged this there's another crocodile, you can see there. I believe there's a female or a youngster. Let's see how much this big male tolerates having this youngster around. We'll see how long it's going to take. Here's another crocodile. This one's also a fairly big one. And now I think what we're going to be seeing, I mean, if I were to judge from previous experience, I think what we're going to be seeing is these like tasters turn into a spinning fest. But don't forget, these crocodiles are jam-packed with food at the moment. They couldn't be fuller even if they tried. And quite often what they're doing is they're leaving these carcasses for quite some time. Oh, this is amazing. The crocodile just went away. Djuma, you've asked me why these crocodiles are being such picky eaters. I can only imagine that they're being picky eaters because there's this overabundance of food around, to be quite honest with you. I think that they don't have to feed. When we first started to see the wildebeest cross the river, the crocodiles were going crazy. They quite often didn't even wait for the wildebeest to come into the water before they'd be ramming up the side of the riverbanks. And and scaring the wildebeest away. And even fresh carcasses were just ripped to pieces in absolute seconds. What I think is happening now is these crocodiles are full. They don't need to eat. At the moment, they're eating to just put on weight. Where are you going now? You've hooked your door in and now taking your wildebeest carcass into deeper water. And so basically, I think what's happening is just there's this overabundance of food. They can afford to be picky. They don't have to get into big fights with one another over food. They're being quite careful around these carcasses and getting the choicest morsels. And of course, the crocodile will put on fat when and where possible. There are times when the river has dried up, and in a bad drought or even a bad flood, when finding food is really difficult, crocodiles will go for months, even years without eating. And I think the record is about 2 years, although I want to say that that's probably been in a book I've read somewhere rather than actually seeing a crocodile not eat for 2 years. Africa's prone to droughts. This is the 4th drought that I've been a part of in 20 years that I've been guiding. And I'm amazed at what these animals can tolerate, to be quite honest with you. The amount of weight they can... Whoa! Teeth shredding through that skin. Wow. That is unbelievable. That definitely peeled off some skin there. So that wasn't just rasping. That is amazing. It just gives you an idea of when these crocodiles bite into something that's running across the river and these crossings happening, that their teeth are actually anchoring, puncturing into the flesh, and are anchoring that no wonder these poor animals can't get anywhere. Like I say, the more I watch these animals feed, the more terrified I become. And then every now and again, you get the odd hero thing. Yesterday, I watched here comes another wildebeest carcass floating down the river. I wonder what is going on. It's obviously raining uplands, and the river level is high. Steph, you just asked me if this crocodile is the leading crocodile, or I suppose you mean the ranking crocodile in this pond, and is that why he's allowed to eat first? You know what? I actually agree with you that there is a hierarchy to these crocodile ponds. It's not that a crocodile can't move from one pond to another, but I so often see the big carcasses are attended by big crocodiles, or have a big crocodile lying close by, and as soon as another big crocodile comes along, they chase it away. And I think that there's absolutely a hierarchy. I can't imagine something that's got a history of 200-300 million years hasn't got a very subtle but very definite hierarchy. Look at this. Look. You see how quickly that one crocodile left? Well, if that didn't prove my point, then nothing will. I mean, that was a very clear threat display. It was called posturing. It's when one crocodile stands side on to another and just shows how big they are. Now watch this. This crocodile is probably going to go and investigate this carcass. Well, I say that in my very limited understanding of crocodile psychology. They are very inquisitive though. Now let's see if he chooses to keep his carcass and not do anything about this carcass. No, it doesn't look like he's going to investigate that. Oh, I tell you, just when you think you know something about these animals, they go and do something. Just going to let this carcass sail on by. That is amazing. Chrissy, you've asked a good question. How do you tell male and female crocodiles apart? Now, while I think about this answer, there you can see a crocodile that's taken some interest in this carcass. However, I think the water is moving a bit too fast for it. You missed your chance there, buddy. Chrissy, basically the only way to tell is size. When they're at their maximum size, a bull crocodile will be bigger than a female crocodile. Substantially bigger. But the only real scientific way of doing it is by doing a cloacal probe. So they've got a common urogenital opening. Crocodiles, very similar to lizards and snakes. And you need to probe into that opening. Look at this crocodile coming through here now. You can see that weight behind him. A relatively deep cloacal opening is for females and a relatively shallow cloacal opening is for males. That's about as scientific as what it gets. Also, females will obviously lay eggs and look after their young, whereas males will not do that. There's no parental care from the father's point of view. Ooh, that is a putrid wildebeest. You can see that it's definitely been had at by some crocodiles already. I must be honest with you, unless I was starving, I wouldn't go for that carcass either, to be honest with you. Imagine. And funnily enough, you can actually eat that. You just need to heat it up above 60 degrees centigrade for longer than 3 or 4 minutes, and you'll kill all the bad bacteria. And apart from trying to make it taste nice, it is digestible to us humans. That is not cool. Alright. Alice, would you mind repeating whom I'm sending our viewers over to, please? Right. Alrighty. I'm going to keep my eye on what's happening here on this river for you. We're going to be sending you over to Taylor, and she's just sailing through the Mara looking for something interesting to show you.
We're exploring at the moment. Darby is kindly showing me a few new areas which I haven't driven in yet, which is quite cool. So basically we come down and I think we're heading towards Main North, which is one of the river crossings. I haven't actually been to any river crossings whatsoever. So we're going to carry on. We're going to go down and we're going to have a look and see what's about. Also, there were quite a few herds behind us, sort of moving into the open areas. So it's just a good idea as we drive around just to sort of know where the big herds are. Because obviously you've seen the predators like to follow them. A couple of buffalo here and there. We'll stop and have a look at these buff now. And I believe that this is the area that Scarface likes to roam around in. I'd love to see Scarface. That's definitely on top of my list of animals to see while out here in the Mara. And then once we've had a little sort of meander around here, we'll head back towards Hippo Pools and see if we can find the lions that were hanging around there. If not, we'll go back to the Agamas. I'm sure we'll get some action from them a little bit later. We'll see, Vonning. Hello, buffalo. They're just relaxing at the moment. Looks like mainly Duggar boys. Oh, there's one having a big old wallow. What have you got in your mouth? Is that just gob? No, now I'm going to wipe my face on the grass. Obviously had a bit of an itchy chin. And he's just been relaxing in there probably for most of the day, keeping nice and cool. Like I said, the temperature, it's unbelievable how it just changes. Now, it doesn't get, in my opinion, it hasn't been as hot as what it gets at Djuma. Definitely much warmer there. But very drastic sort of temperature changes from really cold to all of a sudden being piping hot. And these animals need to stay nice and cool on a regular basis. But there's a few of them scattered around here. It would be nice to see some lions taking on a big buffalo bull out in the Mara, out in the open. There's also no shortage of food around here for them. There's plenty. This is quite nice. Very nice. Different change of scenery. Okay, well, let's carry on. We'll go carry on bumbling. I see big herds of impala up ahead as well. I'd like to actually spend a bit of time at some point with some impala, even with the Thompson's gazelle. I haven't really been able to watch him and sort of deduce anything and learn anything about their behavior just yet. It's been go, 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 but I've got my notebook handy and I'm constantly adding notes and all these different types of things. So one thing that I really can't wait to see is actually see a crossing firsthand on myself and watch a wildebeest crashing down through the water, which will be really quite nice. But we're just up ahead. Let's have a look. We're right here. Hey, Darby. Okay, let's quickly we're only about 50 meters from the edge of the river. Let's quickly take a look, because from here we're probably going to turn around and then start heading back towards Hippo Pool side. There are lots of vehicles coming from here. I think they've obviously been sitting, waiting for a crossing to happen. Let's just poke our nose in. Yay, my first! Well, not that there's any animals crossing, but a spot that they like to cross at. Beautiful. Wow, look at the river flow. We definitely don't have anything like this in the northern Sabi sands. Even when I was working down in the southern sands, we didn't quite, unfortunately, have raging rivers like this, only after torrential rain. But we'll see what else is happening out and about here in the wilderness. I'm going to send you across to James, and I think he's got a beautiful view for you all to have a look at.
I do have a very beautiful view to look at, and it's down over the Salt Lick. We've come quite a long way south, and as Craig sort of lightens the foreground, down in the valley, the lowest part of this picture that you can see is the Salt Lick. And the Salt Lick is where we used to find the Salt Lick Pride, of course, but I'm not going to go all the way down there, simply because beyond that, on those hills, you can see that they are completely free of wildebeest. And so these hills, which were noisy and covered and just filled with a sense of life from the wildebeest, now returned to complete peace. And there's just the odd canoe from over the tops of the hills, and now just lovely birds, quiet insects, and the waving of the grass. It really is very stunning. I mean, it's the kind of place you'd like to have an apple juice, isn't it, Craig? Definitely. Very good to have apple juice here, but I'm not going to. You know, I'm at work, Craig. I can't have any apple juice here. Marvellous. I've just taken 2 illegal photographs, everybody. I'm so naughty. All right, I believe that Baron is trying to compete with this golden light, and so we're going to hand you across to him and hope that his gold is as good as my gold.
Well, we have got beautiful, beautiful light, James. Let's just see if we can get some of it for all of you. Look at that. That sun is about to drop behind those clouds. The temperature's dropped too. So apparently Megan says the temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit and 22 degrees Celsius. That is completely wrong, Megan. We always joke about the weather report, but it's definitely not 22 degrees Celsius. No. What do you think, Seb?
I agree. More like 17.
Yeah, I think it's like 16 or 17, somewhere around there. It feels quite chilly. Yeah, no, it's not 22, that's for sure. And there's the sun disappearing. Unfortunately, everyone, that leopard disappeared into the camp and we weren't able to follow it anymore. But what a nice surprise to see that young male. Again, I wasn't exactly sure who it was. I didn't have a good look. It was walking away from us. So that's actually, now a lot of you viewers were saying you said it was a savanna, and that's exactly what Sebastian said, and I thought so too. He looked a bit bigger than young Tamba, that other young male we see in the area. So we actually did speak about it. We said maybe it is Hosanna. So if you all say so, that makes sense then to us. "30 minutes fitness." I nearly called you 30-minute serval. 30-minute fitness. You asked for serval, and you said, "Can we look for serval?" I'm constantly looking for serval out here. We just don't see them very often. But yes, we can. And maybe our friends in the Mara can find one this afternoon too. You never know. Scott had one this morning. James referred to Scott as the serval king, so maybe they find some serval out there. The clouds above it and that golden sliver of light just above the mountain range. But that is lovely. Look at the mountains in the distance. You can actually see their silhouette below that cloud. Just putting another jacket on. Sometimes it's nice just to appreciate the view. Just sit quietly for a while. There aren't any birds calling at the moment. I think maybe the wind has got something to do with it. There's that huge cloud over the mountains there. That's really lovely. And it's just nice, as I was saying, it's just nice to sit and enjoy something like this. The sun in the clouds. No, we haven't been lucky to add to our bird list this afternoon, unfortunately, but you never know, maybe we still find something. Well, I'm going to sit and just appreciate this for a few more minutes and listen out for birds. Maybe we find some more to add to the list, but let's go across to Steph, who apparently has some action on the dam cam.
Well, we're back at cul-de-sac crossing, everybody, and we've got two crocodiles here, a monster of a crocodile, which has replaced the other two previously big crocodiles, by the way. And what I thought was a female, what I think is a female, and I don't know what's happening here. The big male's got his head on the back of the female's body. Let's see what he does here. Let's see if he lets her go. I've just been resting like I've showed you. There he slides over to this carcass. It has been amazing these last couple of minutes just watching what's going on here. To be honest with you, I don't know what's happening. It looks like a fairly old female. You can see that the dentition there on her face is... Crocodiles get ragged when they get a bit older, to be honest with you. It's difficult to say, and also because this crocodile is tolerating her. They can obviously tell at a distance either an individual, so they know that that's Mavis the crocodile, or they know at a distance that that is a female crocodile. There at that rock at the top left-hand side of your screen, that is where the previous big crocodile is sitting. He chased off another male, and he's made space for this big guy who is as big as all of these other ones. Jackie, you wanted to know when is crocodile meeting season? That is a good question, Jackie. I don't know nearly enough about crocodiles to tell you that, but I'll tell you what I will do is I have a book on reptiles in my library this year, and I'll have a look for you in the next segment, and I'll come back to you with that question. I would imagine though that it takes about a year for the eggs to hatch. Although that said, crocodiles do bury their eggs in a compost heap and allow the decomposing vegetable matter to sometimes incubate their eggs faster. It's probably variable. The fact that this big crocodile is allowing this smaller crocodile to not feed yet, but to be close to this. Let's see now. Okay, so now one crocodile is now getting more meat than another, and of course that is the instinctual trigger to say, no, I also want some. All the time, just that gas that's coming out over there, that is probably from the mud that the crocodile is sliding over. I don't think that it's him doing those bubbles. However, crocodiles produce an ultra low frequency sound that makes the water... I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of people passing sound through water, and it makes all those little peaks jump up out of the water. That is basically what crocodiles can make happen to the water above their back. Okay, let's see if we get some action, some feeding action here. This particular crossing has many of these crocodiles with this dark green head. I actually thought it was just one crocodile, but there's about 3 or 4 of them with this dark green head. They are the biggest crocodiles here. So when you see a crocodile with a dark green head like this, you know he's one of the big boys. Now that female, she's getting out of the way. She doesn't want to be hurt by him feeding. You can see how he hides his eyes away, tucks them into his skull. Basically, that entire head is just bone covered with a very, very thin layer of scales and skin, very little flesh. A crocodile skull looks almost identical to what it looks like in real life. Suman, you've just asked if, you've just commented on the fact that you've observed that the Southeast Asian crocodiles look different to the Nile crocodiles. And are they the same species? That's a good question there, Suman. Nile crocodiles do extend their range all the way up into Asia, and I don't actually know if it is the same species, to be honest. There's a very good chance that it could be, and that they're just smaller because there's a different food dynamic, or the availability of protein is slightly different. You get a slightly smaller crocodile. Difficult to say. I really don't know enough about crocodiles, to be honest with you. Even though I've spent 20 years in environments where they occur frequently, they are so infrequently seen from a vehicle. As you might have guessed from Byron's find, is that they normally just viewed from afar, and then you've got to be quite sneaky with them. Whereas these crocodiles that we are able to view with these river cameras, these static cameras, we're just seeing behavior that I've never seen before, and never read before in books. See what this guy's going to do. That is scary. Sam Shark, you just asked if the crocodiles are immune to the bacteria in the water. I would assume so. These guys have been around since dinosaurs were around. I would imagine that there's very little that their bodies don't have an antibody against, and they build up some sort of immunity towards. They are tough creatures, and they live in the most hard environments. When it gets dry, quite often encase themselves in this mucus muddy ball and just live dormant for months and months at a time. It really is quite astounding what they can do. Let's see how close we can get onto this. You can almost see the camera. You can definitely see the riverbank reflected in this crocodile's eye. That is the bank on top of which we have this camera, and if I'm not mistaken, you can see just left of the pupil a tiny mound. That is where our camera is at the moment. Well, at least I'd like to believe that. Anyway, we'll keep looking at this carcass V. You're off to Byron, who's searching for nocturnal creatures.
Well, almost, Steph, almost. We're going to be searching for the nocturnal creatures soon. Maybe we're lucky and we have some predators moving around. But what a nice afternoon for us. Elephant, wonderful elephant, all those hippo around the dam, the crocodiles out, and a leopard, and a nice surprise by a leopard. So it's been an awesome afternoon. Compared to this morning, it was much quieter. So we've seen a lot. A lot's been going on. Just shows you how the bush can change from the morning to the afternoon. Also desperately trying to work on that bird list. Debbie, you were asking what trees and plants bloom in the early spring. Debbie, now I'm trying to think what the first trees are that we start seeing flowers or new leaves coming out. Some of the wattles, we might start seeing some flowers on them. The acacia trees, you'll start seeing beautiful yellow flowers. What else? Also, jackalberries, you start seeing the fruit in that quite early on in the jackalberries, and the leaves go green. Maybe some marulas, you'll start seeing leaves coming out on the marulas. Did you lose something there, Sam?
Checking for that snake the other guy.
Sebastian says he's just worried about the snake I thought I heard. I just thought I heard something move in the car, but I don't think it was anything. You never know. I did see a snake skin actually in camp. Yeah, a small little one. So we might have to keep our eyes out. Eyes peeled. Megan saying creepy. Don't worry. Oh, it really is cold this afternoon. Well, compared to usual, I mean, it's nowhere near as cold as it gets to the rest of the country, but strange weather we're having at the moment around here. Jinlin, I checked the hyena den this morning, and there was no activity around there. But yesterday we did have hyena with that cub outside of the den, and it was suckling, and everyone was looking good. But we looked this morning, no sign of them, and we might have just missed them. Maybe they came out a little bit later. We'll check tomorrow again. We're a little bit far from the hyena den at the moment, so I don't think we'll get there before it gets dark, and we don't go to the hyena den when it is dark. We don't want to disturb those hyena. Sinak, we do have porcupines around here, and when was it? We saw Mvula had a porcupine kill not too long ago. What was it, about a month ago? Yeah. 3 weeks, a month ago, somewhere around there. We saw that male leopard with a porcupine kill. We do get porcupine here. I have not seen porcupine walking around. They're mainly nocturnal, Sinak, so you don't often see them. But they do occur. You might see a quill now and then lying on the road. But I haven't seen one for a long time in this area. I'm just trying to think what we can do now, where we can go. I think we just need to drive around a little bit and see what we can find. Chastity, you asked me to find the Verreaux's eagle owl, that giant eagle owl. You and Chitty Chatty Meg are desperately wanting to see it. I looked again today. I drove past and I looked and I couldn't see it. I don't know where it is. It's nice if you can hear them, because then it's easier to pinpoint more or less where they are. I haven't seen or heard that owl for quite some time. Natalie, so interesting question. You were asking how I guide people who speak different languages. So it's a lot of pointing and sign language. Male, lion, I don't know. No, so you know what I do, Natalie, is, and I've always done this, is I guide, generally I guide like this anyway. So I find, actually, I like this question. I like this question. This merits a turnaround answer, a serious answer. So Natalie, so what happens is, and apparently my name should be at the bottom of the screen there, so it is serious. So Natalie, when guests come out in general, so let's first speak about normal guests, or guests that speak English rather. Guests that speak English come out and they on safari. People are so excited to be here. They want to see everything. They want to learn a little bit about the bush and hopefully have a wonderful holiday. Now, with guiding, I feel and I find that if we arrive in a sighting, often for the first 5 minutes, I don't say a word to the guests. And the reason I do that is because they are so excited and they're so busy photographing and trying to take pictures and see what's going on, that if you turn around and you just start rattling off loads of information, people forget about it and they don't even hear you a lot of the time. So for the first 5 minutes or so, I don't say anything, let people enjoy the sighting. And when I guide people on the vehicle, it's very different to Safari Live, because here obviously we speak a lot more and we need to give a lot of information and we're answering a lot of questions constantly. But with guests on the vehicle, it's different because you can just enjoy and appreciate what's going on in front of you. So what I do then is, after that, I'll start then mentioning bits and pieces about what is actually going on. Not going into random conversations about gestation period or mating or whatever, when you're just looking at animals possibly lying down and resting, or maybe feeding on a carcass, because it's better to speak about what's relevant in that actual sighting. Then what happens is you then start engaging the guests and you'll start getting questions, and that's always great because then you can answer the questions depending on what the guests want to know. So that's important. It's important to know all the information, I think, but it's also great just to allow them to see what's going on in that particular sighting, talk about what's going on. They take that in and then they'll ask questions about anything else at a later stage. But I feel if you bombard them with too much information and too much scientific information, you'll lose a lot of guests and you lose the whole sighting itself, if I can say that. That's my opinion and that's how I guide. With guests that don't speak English, or very little English, what I'll do is I'll keep the information very basic, very simple, very straightforward. I'll speak slower, a lot slower, try to be very clear, and just try and see if we can bridge that language barrier slightly. So that's what I would do too. Often I find there might be somebody in the group that speaks a bit better English than the rest, and I'll try explain to them as simplest as I can, or in a simplest way, and a simplistic way rather, and then they will then just relay that to the rest of the group. That does help. So good question, Natalie. I like that. Thank you. All right, shall we continue? Now, unfortunately, we've still got some technical issues in the Masai Mara. They are trying to sort it out, and I'm sure they will get it up and running again soon. Darlene, you were asking how long I've been a guide for, and a Safari Live guide. Well, Darlene, so I first got my qualifications to guide in 2004. Was it 2004? Yeah, 2004. So what's that? 13 years ago? Is my maths right? 13 years ago. 13 years ago was the first time I got my qualification to guide, and then I did bits and pieces of guiding, but I sold my soul. Can you believe this, everyone? I worked in Johannesburg for a few years in the city. I wore a suit and tie. Can you believe it? Every day to work, I wore a suit and tie. And I did not enjoy it at all. And let me try and get into the bush. And then fortunately, I was offered a position at Londolozi, and I went and worked there in 2009. And that's also where I met James Hendry. As you all know, he trained me, or he was the head trainer there for our group. And then so then it just progressed from there. Guided there for 5 years, and then left and started my own company, doing this private guiding and booking safaris for guests, or planning itineraries through the whole of Africa, which is great. And I love doing what I do now. And then I've been helping out at Safari Live for, actually don't know, I think it's about a year and a half, if not longer, maybe, somewhere around there, I think. Yeah, so the first time I came through to Safari Live, I think James had just started. James had been guiding for a while, and that was the first time I came through for my interview drive. James, I think, had been here for about a month or so, or 2 months. I think he had just started, if I'm not mistaken. And shortly after, so I had my interview drive, and then I think shortly after that, Jamie started working at Safari Live. So yeah, so it was around that time, however long ago that is, I can't remember. Anyway, so that's how long I've been in and out and helping at Safari Live. But as you all know, I just come in from time to time, which is wonderful, and it's great being able to come and guide here. And I'll come in for normally a 2-week stint and help out, and then like give people like Tristan or Ali or whoever, sometimes James, whoever, give them a break, and then I will leave again because I've got to get back to my business and to private guiding and taking people around, which is what I'm doing in September now, taking people on safari. So looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. I've really enjoyed this afternoon. It's been chilly, but it's been fun. I mean, you've been stuck with us for most of the drive, so unfortunately for everyone, but it's been fun. And luckily we found some great stuff. The elephant, the leopard, and the crocodiles and hippo. So it's been awesome. Curious, ask if we can head up and just a quick question. Go pan and just sit there for a while. Now, curious one. Do you mean? Well, you obviously know the pan, and not the main dam, the Vulture dam. The little pan to the back. So definitely, we can definitely do that, and I think that's a good idea. Maybe we can just sit there and just listen out. Maybe we hear something. I'm going to drive around there, try get around there quickly. I'm almost at Buffelshoek Dam, so we'll do a quick flyby, just have a look if there's anything there, and then we'll make our way to Gallagher Pan and sit there for a while. I like that idea. Oh, golden-tailed woodpecker. I can hear it, and we need it. We need it for our list. Seb, find it. Where is it? I just heard the call of the golden-tailed woodpecker, but I have no idea where it is. It's down in the drainage line, in that thick area somewhere. I was hoping it would be on that apple leaf, that very prominent apple leaf standing out there. Thought maybe it would be sitting on there. A bird you need, or a bird we need at least, for our list. The golden-tailed woodpecker. I'll tell you, let me play the call for you quickly, just so you can hear what sound it makes. Let me find it for you quickly. I can hear some people up ahead, so I'm assuming someone stopped for some sundowners. Listen to this, everyone. This is the golden-tailed woodpecker. Hear that? That high-pitched screech That is the call of the golden-tailed woodpecker. That's what I heard, but I can't see it. Well, we've got a few more days, so hopefully, I think also if the temperature warms up a bit, then we are most likely going to have a bit more luck with some birds. I'm hoping so. It called again. It's playing games with us now. You know what? We'll let him be. If it's meant to be, it will be. Hey, Seb. Look at that. Being philosophical now. As I said, I heard some people up ahead. I wonder if someone hasn't stopped for some sundowners. Stretch their legs a little bit. Oh, Holly, you asked what is my favorite place to guide. That's a tricky question. I think Djuma, obviously. Hold on, let me just get through here quickly. A wave to the people having their sundowners. Hello, everyone. See, as I thought, I heard some people having their drinks on the dam. And it's always nice to see people stretching their legs. So, Holly, getting back to your question, it's difficult. Each place is different. Each place has got something unique and something to offer. Botswana for me is beautiful. I really enjoy Botswana. The vast open areas and the abundance of wildlife in Botswana is lovely, and especially on the delta when the floods come through the Okavango Delta. It's stunning, just stunning. It really is wonderful. Then I must be honest, is that I do enjoy guiding at Londolozi. Still going back, a lot has changed since I last guided there. I think with everything, things have grown a bit and got a bit busier. I remember guiding, it wasn't as busy as it is now. All over. A lot of the lodges are all very, very busy. I know when we book safaris for guests, you need to start looking at least a year in advance. Otherwise, you're not going to find space. So I remember it was never that busy, but now things have got a lot busier. But I do enjoy going back there because I just have so much fun. I think it's because I know the area quite well, so that helps. The wildlife is amazing within the Sabi Sands in general, but the wildlife there is amazing. It's always been good. And then the fun that we have with guests, I really think it's so enjoyable. It really is enjoyable. So the game drives and the game viewing is obviously what draws the people and attracts the people. But I think that if you are able to add on fun and what I mean by fun, I mean activities out in the bush and little stops, random stops around, and dinners in beautiful bomas and wonderful meals, and you have drinks and share stories, and it's all of that for me is what makes the experience, and I enjoy that. So that's why I say I do enjoy going back there a lot. But it's all different. Everyone, like I say, every different lodge has got something unique and something different, and it all depends on you as a guest. Every guest is different. Every guest prefers something that they enjoy. No one is the same. No one's going to enjoy the same thing, and that's what's so wonderful about this industry. Is there's so many various lodges, there's so many different places to go to, different habitats, different ecosystems, and you can go to all of them and see what you enjoy and what you prefer. So that's the other great thing about this. All right, well, just to give me a little bit of a break, we've got another wonderful catch-up clip of elephants swimming. Now, I wonder if this isn't the elephants swimming at Chitwa Dam. Let's go and have a look.
Look, they're swimming. Look, Craig, they're swimming. Yay! This is so cool. Go, little elephant, go. It's a little bit deep there for that small one, but nonetheless, swimming out with little brother or big brother. Little snorkel of a trunk coming up. Must be nice for an elephant to swim around in water. They must feel as though they're light as a feather when they submerge themselves. My goodness, look at that tail just sticking out. Bottoms in the air, trunks in the air. Oh, now they're all going in. Oh my goodness, wow, wow, wow. But he's just having a great time. And I hope that you can feel the happiness oozing from this elephant, because this is the happiest you will ever see any elephant, is when they're in the water. Look here, come two young bulls that are coming to join in. Now these are young boys. Now this is going to be lots of fun, because they're also getting to the point where they're like, oh, we don't really need mom anymore. We're going to go off and do our own things. They'll still be with the herd, but now I'm sure they're all going to have a great time and play with each other. But they've turned this into almost an ocean. Look at all the waves that are coming off as these two box each other. Oh, boys, you are very funny, and thank you for keeping us entertained. And
Oh, so how amazing was that sighting with those elephants swimming? Now, Taylor's in that sighting, but I think we've all been fortunate enough to have a sighting like that with those elephants, very, very playful elephants in the water at Chitwa Dam. And those are, I think some of my favorite sightings have been of elephants swimming and playing. They get very playful and excited when they're around the water. And it's incredible to see how they submerge completely when they are swimming around. Hold on a second, I saw a bird it just take off now. I think it's a... Can you see? Oh no. Did you see him? Let's just have a look. I don't know. I caught a glimpse of it, everyone. I'm just trying to reverse and see. Seb, will you keep an eye on him? I'll try reverse. Just hold on, everyone. Let's just see. It was a Quran, all the black-bellied bustard. Let's just have a look. The light is terrible here now. Let's see if we can find it quickly. I'm just scanning.
I think you need to go a little bit forward.
A little bit forward, okay. Just give us a second, everyone. Let's try, see if we can find this bird. It just took off as I drove past. Maybe from this angle. I'm just having a look here quickly. Now I can hear a red-crested Quran calling. So let's see if this one replies. If so, then we know it was the red-crested. Can you see anything there, Seb? I can't.
Okay, this is where he landed. That's why I'm scanning that area.
Yeah, I can't see anything for now.
Oh, okay, got him.
Have you got him? Have you got him? Oh, well spotted. Ah, there it is. Well spotted. Let's just see. Okay, let's just have a look now. Is that the red crested or... no, I think this... Just need to see that head. Everyone, this is the black-bellied bustard, I think. Just... Yeah, that is the black-bellied bustard. I think. Sorry, the light now. Just give me a second. I think it is.
We're going for red.
No, I just need to check that head quickly. You know what, Seb? I think this is the Quran. I think this is the red-crested Quran. Just trying to see the feathers on it. Again, I mean, without the color, it's very difficult. However, I think this is... Yeah, please. Let me just try to see there. No, I think this is the red-crested Quran. Let me just quickly double check here. This, again, the light. Yeah, that's a red-crested Quran. Well spotted though, great to see it walking through the grass, but it is the red-crested Quran. It is not the black-bellied bustard we were looking for. Actually, now I can see the coloration and that on the back, the markings. It is the red-crested Quran, and the head I can see it a bit better there. Nice to see it though, always nice to see those birds. Oh, but I got excited there for a second. See, you almost convince yourself at times, or try to convince yourself, is it perhaps something you haven't seen yet? And that's why it's always important when you are birding, take your time, look at the head, look at the feathers, the color, the legs, beak, all of that. And just make sure you make the right call when you do see it. James, I'm just thinking of the white jars, the night jars, and which ones I might be missing. We got fiery neck nightjar, and we got square tail nightjar. There goes another red-crested Quran. Now I know that is a red-crested Quran. Let's just have a look quickly, because I heard that one calling. Yeah, that is the red-crested Quran. That was the one I heard calling earlier. Definitely, but that's at least a nice view of it. Busted. The black actually goes further up the neck. I'm going to show you the difference quickly. It's, yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that before. I apologize, everyone. And that one that we just saw is calling behind us now. So that just confirms that it was the red-crested Quran, however you want to pronounce it. Let me show you quickly. There we go. Look at that. That is the red-crested Quran. Now, if you look at the front, you can actually see the black. It comes up just to the chest, and then the neck is brown, the flecks on the wing, and it's also got a bit of a white supercilium, bit of a white eyebrow. It's called the supercilium. Now, let me just quickly flick forward. That's the red-crested Quran. That's also a nice view of it. That's obviously when it's displaying the male. You can see the black going right up there, up to just to the top of the chest. Okay, now let me show you the black-bellied bustard. Let's just show you the difference. Now, there we go. Look at that. That's the male black-bellied bustard. Now, see the black, it actually goes all the way up the neck. Do you see that? The coloration is very, very similar, but all the way up the neck, and also the markings on the head are different. I'm just going to try to find another picture. There we go. It's also got a bit of a white brow, but it's got a prominent little whitish neck and that white mark behind the eye there. Do you see that? So it is different, but you can see the black all the way up. So it is different. You can see the difference clearly there. They do look similar. I mean, the markings on the back and that look quite similar, but now that I've pointed it out, you should see the difference clearly. So these are the red-crested Qurans that we see in the Qurans. So, and the nightjars, James, getting back to the nightjars, I've got fiery neck nightjar and square-tailed nightjar. I don't know of other species we might get around here this time of year, to be honest. I'll have to look it up at some point. I want to try get down towards those water holes, Galago Pan, and just see if maybe, who knows, maybe something pops out for us. It's almost time for the spotlights, I think. Megan, not me. I couldn't resist Megan. Sorry, Megan said Megan asked the question, but she said it's not her. But she said Megan, not me. So I thought anyway. See, I've been speaking for too long. So you asked what types of reptiles do we find out here at Djuma? Crocodiles. Let's start with the biggest. The crocodiles, the water monitors, rock monitors, those monitor lizards. We have a number of lizard species. We have a number of snake species. Megan, there are plenty of reptiles found in this area. A lot of them aren't that active at the moment because it is winter. But as we start moving closer to summer, all those reptiles will start getting quite active. I wonder if we'll spot another owl, perhaps. You know which owl we do need, which I'd love to see, is the white-faced scops owl. The white-faced scops owl, haven't seen one of those for quite some time. Very secretive owls, but you never know. I've heard them a few times in the last week, close to camp, but I haven't seen them. Actually, I'm going to scan the ground. I'm not going to scan the trees for birds at the moment or owls. I'm going to be scanning the ground for maybe a genet or a civet or a lion or a leopard. Who knows? You never know. There is actually a nightjar in the road. Let's see. I don't want to shine the light on it too much. There, it actually just flew away anyway. But there was a nightjar. I'm not sure which one. You could only see a dark shape that flew around, but they've got very large eyes. The eyes stand out so clearly and reflect the light with the nightjars because they are nocturnal. So they've got those larger eyes to be able to see better at night. Some impala ahead. Going to turn the lights off. Of course, and I forgot about the chameleons, the reptiles that we get out here. Revis, you asked any chameleons around, and not at the moment. And we were having this discussion the other day. Where do the chameleons go? So they fly north for the winter. No, they hide. What they do is they slow down their metabolism completely. They change color. They go a very light coloration. Actually, I've got a photo of it because I found one 3 weeks ago in the Timbavati. I managed to spot a chameleon, believe it or not, even this time of year. But I took a photo of it because the camouflage was amazing. Let me just see. There we go. There it is. Look at that. See how that chameleon, it's not green in the photo. I hope you can see it. It's actually that grey coloration, the same coloration as a tree. It was hiding there. It didn't move. So they go and they look. They move lower down the trees. They look for places to hide. And they slow down the metabolism. And they'll rest there and stay there until the summer again, and probably get a bit more active. That's what I've noticed and seen. So it was wonderful to actually witness and see and find this chameleon, but it was so well hidden, very, very well hidden, but we still managed to spot it. But interesting to see how they change color like that. No, I didn't realize how far away we are actually from Gallagher Pan. It's taking us a while to get there. I would still like to stop around there, just listen. I mean, it's a small little bit of water, but you never know. Animals do often go through and drink. There was another nightjar that just took off. It's often a quick glimpse that we get of these birds as they fly. Kathy, you asked if I ever get lost while driving around. So Kathy, no, this is the first time actually that I've got lost. Just joking, Kathy. You know what? Initially, when I started here, it just took me a bit of time to get to know the area. You know what? As a guide, it's important to have general direction. So you should kind of know which way you're going, north, south, east, or west. But yeah, the areas that I've driven around and been like, I'm not too sure. I mean, I remember driving around Djuma in the beginning. I wasn't sure where I was, but I knew more or less where camp was or where things were. But I'd take roads and be like, no, look, this is going the wrong direction, and turn around. But new areas, yes, it's easy to get lost in terms of I won't know which road I'm on, but I'll know more or less how to get back to camp. And I think most guides are like that. That reminds me of a funny story. When we were training. So we were training and James trained us, as you know, and part of our training was we had to walk the roads of the property that we were guiding on, or that we were working on. So we had to walk the entire property by ourselves, and we had to get to know the area. So that was quite a daunting task. We were given hand-drawn maps that weren't very accurate, but we did have radios, and were in communication with the camp. We had to radio every 3 hours just to give an update of where we were. So you left at 6 in the morning and you got back at 5 in the afternoon. And the one day, what they would do is they would make... Sorry, the bug just flew into my mouth. They would fly... They wouldn't fly. They would send us out 2 at a time. So just to cover different areas and to make the process go a lot quicker. And a friend of ours that trained with me, her name is... Should we mention names? We definitely should. Her name was Jess. And Jess it was an amazing guide and still works in the bush. And she wasn't very good with directions. And we used to tease her about it a lot. But on the walks, the one day we got to this... I was walking one area and I came across a road that I was meant to be on, and I saw these little tracks heading up and down the road. I thought, that's strange. Who's been walking here? No one should be here, because we had an idea of each other's routes. So we were completely opposite sides of the property. Oh, sorry, we just got to Gallagher Waterhole. I'm just going to sit here a little bit quietly. It was one of the requests. There's some thick knees around. I don't see anything else for the moment. So, I mean, as I was saying, so walking along the road and saw these little tracks, and I thought, this is very unusual. But Jess and I used to tease each other a lot while we were training, and the other guys used to laugh constantly, and we very, very good friends, but we would give each other such a hard time. And I was walking around and saw these tracks, got to the end of the road, and there was Jess. And she looked at me and she just burst into tears and she said, "I'm lost, aren't I?" I said, "You're very lost." So she was about 3 or 4 kilometers off course from where she was meant to be. She was so lost. She had walked up and down those roads trying to figure out where she was, and she couldn't. So I helped her and kind of pointed her in the right direction, and but then after that she never got lost again. She quickly learned, but she still jokes about it. She said it was the happiest. She said it was the happiest she's ever been to see me. It was only at that moment, but it was very funny, and we still tease her about it to this day. So, but it was entertaining. I mean, we've all got wonderful stories of when we were training, funny incidences, and I mean, I remember when we first got there, and we went out on a drive with James. It was like the first 10 days or something. And we got to a spot, and myself and one of the guides, we were meant to navigate for that day and get us around. It was overcast, no sun, And we got to a spot, and James said, stop. He said, do you know where you're going? We said, no, we're not sure. So he said, well, first thing, where's east? And we both looked at each other, myself and my friend, and he said, on the count of 3, point to east. And he said, 1, 2, 3, and we both pointed in opposite directions. So we were actually lost at that point. We didn't know where we were. It was overcast. We couldn't tell, and we were trying to navigate. We were trying to navigate via the map, but it didn't work so well. So we sit here quietly for a minute or so. Scan around, see. No, as I said, sorry, just let me, before we go quiet, as I said, I did hear the white-faced scops owl in this area close to camp. Now the Gallagher waterhole is just behind camp, so you never know. Let's listen out for a minute, also 30 seconds. Let's make it 30 seconds. I'm just listening. I can hear. Can you hear that toad? I can. Can you, Megan? Can you hear the toad in the background? That croaking sound.
You know why? Because the mic's pointing that way.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think it's a little bit too far behind us. There was a toad calling. It sounded a little bit like an eastern olive toad. Oh, that's strange for this time of year. We haven't had any rain yet, but it just shows sometimes frogs and toads will call if there's a bit of water around. Fiery-necked nightjars in the distance. Well, we were chatting about the chameleons earlier. Now, we've got a little clip just on a baby chameleon on a lion's mane. Now, I'll tell you why this is interesting after the clip.
Can you quickly go in on the mane, on that leaf? No, it's not a leaf. It's a baby chameleon. That is unbelievable. Imagine having to tell that story. I hitched a ride on a male lion's mane. Shame the poor little guy must be so scared though. Flap-necked chameleon. I think I'm out of words. That is probably one of my most memorable sightings. A chameleon on a lion.
Oh, we've found a bush baby. I've spotted a bush baby, everyone. Hold on. And then I'll talk about that clip. Just want to see if I can get a view of it for you. It's through there. Seb, I think if we just focus on there, we might see there where the spotlight is in the center. Somewhere around there. Let's just see. We might see some movement. Where did it go now? Hold on. Come on. It would be great to see a bush baby. Sorry, I'm moving the spotlight around a little bit because I'm just trying to pick up on the reflection of the eyes. Sorry, Seb. Let me just reverse a little bit and try a different angle. Let's just see if we can get a glimpse of this bush baby. Hold on. I'm going to go around the corner here quickly. Is it? Oh, sorry. Is it through there? Okay, well, there. Straight ahead through there. There it is. Isn't that it there?
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Hey, bush baby. Look at that. There we go, everyone. Yes. Oh, what a nice view. You can see that beautiful bushy tail of it. Oh, yes. Look at that. Oh, what a nice surprise. That is great. That is great. Oh, it just dropped down. There it is, just to the back of the tree. It's disappearing behind there now. Possibly going to go try forage for food. But what a lovely view of that bush baby. Hey, wasn't that great? It's still around there. Nice. Oh, I didn't think I'd see a bush baby now. So let's get back to that clip, that wonderful clip of that chameleon on the male lion's mane. Now that was, I think, FW. Some of you might remember he was here, I think, a few months ago. He came in and helped out for a week or so, and he saw that, and now that's amazing. But what is interesting now, I'm not sure if some of you remember, I brought this up once with James and let him know about it, and the name chameleon actually means ground or land lion. That's what the chameleon means. Agama is, I think, ancient Greek for land or ground, and leon, obviously, lion. So ground lion. I think sometimes they also refer to it as little lion, but that is where the name chameleon comes from. I don't know why though, but that is what chameleon means. So wasn't that amazing to see the ground lion in the mane of a real male lion? That was very interesting. I mean, I've never seen that before. That was great to see that little bush baby, one of the nocturnal animals we see around here. There's one up there. Seb, shall we try and get another one? Oh, I mean, they're amazing jumpers. Look at that. Look how agile they is, climbing through these acacia trees. Sinak, you asked if the bush babies have a venomous bite. No, Sinak, they don't. They don't. You know what? Oh, there it is. Just off to the left a bit, Seb. It moved again. It's through there. There it is. Well done, Seb. Scratching itself. Look at those beautiful big eyes. And one of the reasons why it might be on this acacia tree is the bush babies feed on the sap or the gum from these acacia trees. So it might be looking for that. Well, it's getting a bit difficult to follow him now, but he is still through there. Sorry, I've got that branch. There he is. Thanks, Seb. Well done. Interesting thing with the bush babies too, they are fairly territorial, and how they mark their territory is they actually urinate on their hands. So when they are moving around, they urinate on their hands. I think, why don't we, here we go, might see him through there. And then obviously they leave their scent behind while they're bouncing about around these trees.
I was just hoping he would come out a bit, but...
Chris, you were saying you love watching them jump around the trees. That is amazing. Here's the tail. You can still see him. You see those big ears. There we go. That's... Rebecca, you asked if bush babies are endangered. Rebecca, as far as I know, no, they are not. I mean, we see lots of bush babies around here, and they occur just about all over. Look at that. That's such a lovely view. Oh, well done, Seb. Oh, well. Wasn't that a treat? So, Rebecca, no, I don't know of them being endangered at all. There are plenty of bush babies. The greater bush baby, or the thick-tailed bush baby, the thick-tailed bush baby, I think their numbers have dropped substantially. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know if they're on the endangered list, to be honest. I don't think so, though. But we don't see the thick-tailed bush baby. But the thick-tailed bush baby has always been very shy, and you don't see them very often at all. These lesser bush babies we see quite regularly, depending on the time of the year, but we do see a lot of them, and all over Kruger and that. And you know what? Actually, I've seen bush babies in Johannesburg. So in the city, right outside the city, there's some eco estates that they try to be nature friendly and protect whatever animals are in the area. And I've seen bush babies there before. A little scrub hare, a nightjar. Don't want to shine too much on the little scrub hares or the nightjars. Their eyes are quite sensitive, even though they are nocturnal. I can smell a fire burning, and not a bushfire, a campfire. And I think we are pardon? It might be ours, exactly, Seb. Yeah, we are busy. We are braaiing tonight. Now, some of you might ask, what is a braai? So it's spelt B-R-A-A-I, and that is the South African version of a barbecue. So when you light a fire and you cook your meat on the fire, we don't call it a barbecue down here. We call it a braai. Now, that is a huge South African pastime. We love doing it. A wonderful tradition. We do it regularly, weekends, any chance we get. And so I'm braaiing for us tonight, I believe. So I'll be.
Oh no!
Sebastian says, "Oh no." Well, you don't have to eat it, Sebastian. Vulture Day, World Vulture Day. Why don't you think of a question you'd like to ask about the vultures? But let's watch a quick clip of the drone with some vulture footage.
There is a bird, and you will notice that it is not being filmed from the ground. Oh no. It is being filmed by Drone Commander C. Teagues. And my question is, what is he following? Isn't that gorgeous? Oh! That is a hooded vulture now. Oh my goodness gracious me. Ooh, that's the Wahlberg's eagle. That's the Wahlberg's eagle on the left-hand side. The pale fawn Wahlbergs that lives around quarantine clearings. And goodness gracious me. Look at that. That's the eagle. Ah, oh, wow. Doesn't this just make you feel like you are a vulture? Or an eagle? I suppose you'd want to feel like you're an eagle.
Oh, that was such wonderful drone footage of the vultures and the eagles from our friend Connor Teagues. And I mean, it's amazing to be able to get on that level and view these magnificent birds from a drone like that. I know James really enjoyed that and enjoyed narrating that. Sorry, Kathy, your question was, was it the bald spots or broad spots? Sorry, I didn't hear that, Megan. Oh, the bald parts, like the neck and the head. So, Kathy, I think one of the main reasons is the vultures often bury their heads and necks into carcasses, and I think that that is one of the reasons of those the bald neck and head. So their feathers don't get too dirty and covered in blood. I think that is the main reason. I think so, Kathy. I think it's to prevent them from also getting stuck and just covered in blood and that on their necks and heads, so they don't have as many feathers around there. Well, Sinak, you asked if we've got Egyptian vultures here. No, we don't. Not here. And I'll show you the Egyptian vulture quickly while we've still got some time. We're running out of time. Don't worry, I'll move quickly, everyone. The Egyptian vultures are beautiful. Egyptian goose, Egyptian vulture. I've seen the Egyptian vulture in Botswana, I think. But look at that. That's a strange looking vulture. Look at that vulture. The Egyptian vulture, I just want to show you the distribution so you can have a look at it. But there, you see, we don't they've been spotted in these areas, but I think it's very rare and you don't see them. I'm just going to check quickly. Status uncertain. Only a few records in recent past, possibly intra-African or Palearctic migrants. So that's distribution, but those red dots are where they've been spotted. So they're very, very rare, and I think I remember seeing one in Botswana, but I can't remember. But anyway, beautiful, but I don't know if anyone has seen them down here, to be honest. So no, we don't get them here. Strange birds, strange looking vultures. Anyway, everyone, it's come to that time. So it's come to a time where we're going to be saying goodnight. Thanks to the team in the Mara. I hope they sort out all the tech issues. I'm sure they will, but we'll see you again tomorrow morning regardless on our sunrise safari. Hope you've enjoyed this afternoon with myself and Sept. It's been fun. Megan, thank you very much in the final control. As always, the voice in my head. And again, thank you very much, everyone, for your questions and comments this afternoon. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I hope you did. Enjoy your weekend, wherever you are, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night and goodbye, everyone.